Today is going to be a great day. I am Nikki G, your host, and welcome to the Lone Doctrine. I am your weekly dose of constructive food for thought. This month, we've been talking about personal accountability, and here at the Lone Doctrine, we do our best to offer you many different perspectives. Think of us as your hub for actionable and practical food for thought. Today, I wanted to share with you an article I found off of the Huffington Post called How Owning the Negative Will Lead You to a More Positive Life. I'll get right into it, and then we'll dive a little deeper. When the going gets tough, we're not imagining it. Life's challenges are very real, and what we do with such challenges speaks volumes about our own level of personal happiness. The good news is that the choice is ours when it comes to how much or how little we allow such challenges to impact our lives. On one hand, we can use our time and energy to attempt to fight off the inevitable. On the other hand, we can face our reality head on and use the experience as a stepping stone for self-growth. Thanks to the ego, the latter may be more difficult for some to arrive at than others. But it can be achieved through a mindset of personal accountability, which involves the belief that we are fully responsible for our own actions and their consequences. When we are accountable, we have an internal motivation to succeed no matter what may be standing in our way. People with this quality are naturally the most happy and engaged because they understand that they, and they alone, control their outcomes. They resist the urge to blame others or external factors for their shortcomings and use their time and resources to instead make a positive impact. The unfortunate irony that comes with personal accountability is the stigma that's associated with it. Oftentimes, we think of accountability as a sign of weakness that involves assigning blame for poor results. But in reality, accountability is incredibly empowering as it reaffirms that we are, in fact, the architects of our own lives, regardless of our circumstances. You see, pointing to others or less than perfect conditions as the primary culprits for our lack of success falsely gives them the upper hand and more credit than they deserve in the matter. But when we are accountable, we take that power back and have the opportunity to use it to make a positive difference. So how can we achieve a mindset of personal accountability for a happier life? By embracing and exemplifying these 4 factors. Number 1, commitment. The willingness to do whatever it takes to get your desired result. Number 2, resilience. The ability to stay the course in the face of obstacles and setbacks. Number 3, ownership. Full acceptance of the consequences of your actions with no blame or argument. And number 4, continuous learning. Using both success and failure as fuel for future growth. My recommendation? It's easy to let things slip, so pay attention and keep score along the way to ensure you remain accountable over time. A great way to do this is to examine how you handle life's ups and downs. When things go well, do you attribute it to something you did directly? Like most of us, you probably do. But what about when things don't go as planned? Do you look to others or yourself for answers as to why that might have happened? If you're still looking to yourself, your accountability is likely very high. But if you tend to place blame on outside circumstances or other people, this double standard can mean that your level of personal accountability is waning and there is work to be done to get back on track. Keeping an accountable attitude will be a conscious decision that, for some, takes a bit of work, but I can assure you it'll be one that you won't regret. That article was by Cy Wakeman. Now, as we study these different perspectives, as we just hear these different perspectives, I want you to step back and realize that the purpose of tuning in, especially to the Lone Doctrine, is to be open. Be open to different perspectives, because you never know. Even if you take just one thing from someone else's perspective, it can help you get to that next step in your own betterment. So as it was talking about, it was saying we kind of have to own up and be the architect to our own life. We have to stop blaming others. And a big thing that stood out for me is sometimes we have to stop asking why. So many times, especially when things are hard, especially when you go through tragedy, especially when you experience a loss, you want to know why. And you can just drown your own self in that why. And it's not necessarily going to get you to peace of mind or a healthy place. We have to allow ourselves to step outside and realize that we are the architects to our life, in good and in bad. And whether it's a loss, a failure, a success, or a new stepping stone in our betterment, we can take accountability for everything. The more we learn from our failures, the more we learn from our mistakes, and the more we learn from our closest loved ones and friends on how we react emotionally, the better off we'll be in the future. So take some time and ask yourself, in what way of you owning the negative in your life will lead to a more positive life? What can you do? Can you commit? Can you remain to be resilient? Can you take ownership? And are you open and willing to keep learning? And as it said, keeping an accountable attitude will be a conscious decision that for some takes a bit of work, but I can assure you it will be one that you won't regret. It might not be easy, but it will be worth it. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.